Hey, my name's Lumunix, and I am a Screech. No, wait. Am I? No. I'm a fennec fox. See, you can tell because of the giant ears. So after months of waiting, I finally became a fursuiter. This whole process of waiting over 6 months for my suit felt like an absolute eternity. But I'm so glad with how my suit eventually turned out. One thing I noticed at Apocalypse, the first con I actually got to publicly suit at, as Lumunix the very first time, was that a ton of suitors have a bunch of little tiny gizmos and gadgets that make suiting in general a lot easier, or make things easier to actually maintain and care for their suits. And today, for potential new fursuiters, much like myself, I would like to go over 5 little cool gizmos and gadgets that I found that make fursuiting a lot easier to deal with, especially in the long term. The first gadget I would like to actually go over is an O2Cool Fan. You might ask, what is this? Well, it's a tiny centrifugal fan that you can actually wear around your neck that helps provide a little bit of additional cooling. You might ask, saying, why is this actually important? Well, if you don't already know, suiting for any length of time is exhausting. It is boiling hot inside a fursuit. Like, just standing here talking on camera with light shining on me, it feels like I'm in an oven. These O2Cool fans are cheap, they're easy to find at a bunch of different retailers, and they do a fairly reasonable job of just cooling you off when you're away from the headless lounge and you're unable to take off your head without ruining the magic, because no one likes it when you ruin the magic. The second fursuit gadget I would actually like to go over is probably my favorite on this list, and it has saved my butt already at Furpok multiple times from having a damp and wet suit. So after a long day of suiting, you're probably covered in sweat, and it's an unfortunate problem with fursuiting in general. You just get hot. A lot of the things on this list are actually around like cooling in general and just being able to suit for a longer period of time. But that's actually kind of how it is. You want to be able to see and meet people. You want to say hi. You want to scream at everyone like a fennec should. Ah! However, this gadget in particular is something you use after the fact. So this gadget is a dive hanger. It's a dive hanger that has a fan built into the top of it that you use to hang wetsuits on that helps dry them quicker. So in this case, we're going to be using it for the fursuit body. So it'll dry out a lot of that sweat that already exists from the fursuit body and make it so it's actually dry and comfortable to wear the next day at the convention. I found this amazing hanger through a friend that introduced me to it, and I decided I needed one for myself, and I don't regret it one bit. It was a bit on the pricier side, but the payoff is that you don't have to ever deal with a wet suit and never have to worry about having to crawl into a suit that is potentially still drenched in sweat the next morning, which is just an awful feeling. The third item on this list is something I don't actually own because I don't feel I actually need it that much, but I've seen a lot of suitors use it to great success. It is a cooling vest. You might ask, what is a cooling vest? Well, it is simply a nylon vest or neoprene. It doesn't really matter what material it is, but you are able to slide ice packs into various points on the vest, and what you do is you wear it underneath your fursuit. This allows you to stay nice and cool because basically you have ice right against your chest underneath your fursuit. If you have problems dealing with high heat or suiting for a length of time without like dying from the massive amounts of sweat, you might want to consider picking one of these up. They could definitely help you with suiting in the long run. The fourth item on this list is probably something you already have, and that is a small little desk fan. Now you might ask, what use is going to be a desk fan, especially when you need to plug it into the wall? Well, just like the drying hanger that we covered earlier in this list, this is another thing that helps you out when you're done suiting after the day. And what you do with one of these is that you rotate it so it's firing air upwards, and you use it to dry off various parts of your fursuit. In my case, I like using them for my head and my paws, which actually get pretty sweaty since they are puffy. They have a lot of extra padding, so my hands get really hot and really sweaty really quickly. So forcing air through them helps them dry a lot quicker than if I were to just lay them out to dry. The last item on this list is something that is just a little bit of flair. Something that helps you stand out at cons, just as unique, funny, and just all around, in my opinion, awesome. The final item on this list is a monocolor LED name badge. Now, what's so cool about these is that you can program them to say whatever you want. In the case of my LED badge, I have it cycle through 7 different sayings or just icons in general. It's just a fun way to show a little bit of creativity and stand out against the whole crowd of fursuiters. And these can be found very cheap off of eBay. Like, a ton of different Chinese manufacturers produce these for only a couple bucks. And you can program them using a simple piece of software that they conveniently provide for you. A point of note, though, is that this is just another thing you gotta carry around and charge. Unfortunately, it has a battery. It does run out of charge eventually. But from what I've seen is that one charge on these can last 2 or 3 con days, and I haven't had a problem leaving it on the whole time. I hope you all enjoyed these 5 little gadgets that I found that make fursuiting a little bit easier. Even if you're not a fursuiter yourself, I hope you found them at least interesting. Even if you're not a fursuiter, consider sharing this with a friend that you know that is a fursuiter. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a comment or subscribe. Unfortunately, I'm still a little bit nervous in doing this, but I think I'm having a lot of fun, and I would like to keep making videos. So I would love for some general feedback on what you thought of this video in general, or potential tips for improving it. But I'll see you later.